want to make a quick video to discuss, excuse me, the cold air, to continue the conversation of the cold air intake. Should you install it? Should you not install it? And then another topic that came up was another type of intake where the air box is basically removed and it's just a filter there, right? So it's just open filter. Let me start by just looking at this from, logically. Again, I'm not an engineer. I just owned this car for like 15 years. I've heard many different opinions on this car about the pump, the catalytic converter, what kind of oil, the air box, this fuse, not fuse, what you should do, shouldn't do. I've heard it over the years. I'm just going to express to you what works for me and what I have seen. Now, when it comes to the cold air intakes, the most popular one is the AEM intake, right? It comes all the way from over there, straight down here, underneath the front bumper, right? And then it makes an L, which it has a big old filter there. And then it's supposedly supposed to take that air from down there, right? Make that L shape, go up through here, and somehow make its way into the engine. Now, the way I see it is this is a very, very small 1.3 liter engine. I don't know if there's enough vacuum to essentially gather air from all the way underneath the front bumper after it makes an L. So there's an L there, right? For those who know, the AEM cold air intake has an L that goes underneath the bumper with a big filter, right? So that air has to somehow make an L here, make another L, go up, and then make its way into the engine. Again, I don't think it's the most efficient way. I personally don't think that they work. Again, that's my opinion. After seeing over the years everything that has worked for other folks, I'm pretty much convinced that they don't work. They might give you benefits in terms of opening up this area right here, which then lets the radiator breathe a little bit more. But in terms of giving you extra horsepower, I honestly doubt it. And I don't think it's worth it, in my opinion, right? Think about how much distance the air has to travel. The Mazda engineers figure out they got it up to here. Their intake is from here to here. So technically you can argue that this is technically a cold air intake, right? Since it's outside the engine bay, right? Now, if you look at all the other type of intake that you have is the one where sort of like the air box is removed, but you have just a filter. And then that filter is just out in the open. Now, can you make the argument that it gets more air in there? Probably, right? Because now you don't have these things to block it. But what kind of air is going in there? Hot air, right? Because this gets really hot. These engines run hot, and hot air is not, everybody knows that's not what you want. It defeats the whole purpose. So no, I would not recommend or say that you should remove the air box and just put a filter here, remove the walls of the box, and just have kind of like this open filter. You're just going to suck in hot air. Now, I would say a couple things before I go. Think about the amount of money in R&D that Mazda went to make this engine work, right? A big piece of this engine is this intake. It's critical to the airspeed that goes to the Renaissance engine, especially when you're spinning it to like 9,000. Even some people have chipped it to make it 10,000 RPM, right? Think about that as opposed to you going in there and slapping a $300 part, $350, $400. I don't know how much it costs nowadays. I even have mine over here. I don't even know what to do with it. And saying that's going to improve the car. I mean, it's up to you. I personally won't do it, won't recommend it. If you want to use it, that's great. If it works for you, I'm happy for you. If you like the way the car feels, that's ultimately what matters, right? I don't think it's going to mess up the car, but I necessarily don't think it's going to give you a better, higher performance car, right? The amount of horsepower you can get out of these cars is very limited. They're pretty much at the max from factory, and that's if you have good compression over the years, right? And if you look at all the guys that are competing in time attack, they're all, even REMA, his intake is basically like a very small airbox, similar to the stock airbox, with a ram piece here. Now that piece actually pushes air here, comes up, and it goes directly in there. Now that I would see working. I know Racing B also has a ram-like intake, which you can buy from them. You can buy just the piece, or you can buy the complete kit, and even their kit is very similar to the stock gearbox. So the people who sell the Racing Beat, REMA, and all the time attack cars, they use something similar to the stock gearbox. So me personally, I'm just gonna stick with it. Again, if you like how the car feels or the way it sounds when you put the AEM cold air intake, by all means, man, enjoy. That's ultimately what matters, right? Enjoy the car. Enjoying the car. Don't go by other people's opinion. You can hear them, take them, not take them, but just enjoy the car. Now, the one thing I would not recommend is the open filters. The ones that you don't have this box, you just have a filter there. That I would not recommend. If you want to make this car go faster, be a better driver. Push yourself to the limits. Keep the car stock as reliable as possible. Go to the track, do a little bit of an alignment here and there, but just drive it. Drive it, drive it, drive it. Get faster and faster. And then once you master the car, then you can move up to something else, right? But you gotta be able to get to squeeze everything you can out of this car. You know, a lot of folks want horsepower. Well, how about seat time? Get out there, make it reliable, enjoy the car, become a better driver, and ultimately, you know, enjoy. Now, if you really want to go make the car just faster, my recommendation is shed weight. Somehow this car weighs 3,300, I think like 3,300 pounds or something like that. Figure out a way to lower that. That would be definitely something you can feel. All right. So those are my 2 cents. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions. Good luck with it. Remember, take it. I'm not trying to say you're wrong. I'm trying to say you're right. I'm just sharing you my opinion. But most important is I just hope everyone's enjoyed the RX8. Keep them alive. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. All right. Have a good weekend.